Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. This one's about Nolan Wells. This gonna be called episode 2, Who Really Saw Him Last. The last person to see you alive. Nolan Wells go out on a boat ride. Oh, let's just get right to it.
This does not smell right.
One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump standing with the family of Nolan Wells today, demanding
We're gonna get right into this, right? Now, the last person to see you alive. Let me talk to the young people. When you leave home with a group, you're supposed to come home with that same group. I come from a world where we count heads. Not because we were perfect, because we understood danger. You came with us, we're looking for you before the car moves. We ain't pulling off, then asking where you at when we're halfway home. Nolan Wells went to that island live. The day was loud, the music was playing, everybody was celebrating, but somebody inside that crowd, Nolan went from being somebody's friend to being somebody's unanswered question. Now, everybody keeps saying, he was last seen around 3. Hold up. Seen by who? Who looked that young man in the eyes? Who heard his voice? Who watched him walk away? Not who heard the rumor. Not who repeated the story. Not who filled in the blanks later. I'm asking who personally saw Nolan Wells last. Because when a young man ends up dead, I thought, ain't good enough. I assumed ain't good enough. Somebody told me ain't good enough. Somebody saw something, somebody heard something, and somebody may be carrying a digital detail. They're scared to the release. Man, this one is hard. But the jewel in that, right? When somebody dies, every lie gets heavier and every truth becomes more valuable. Now I want to thank everyone for reporting to class. Who can honestly say I was the last person to see Nolan alive? Let's talk about the street knows the difference. Listen carefully. The street knows the difference between seeing something and hearing something. I saw Nolan standing there is one statement. Somebody told me Nolan stayed is a completely different statement. Don't mix them up. One comes from 2 eyes. The other comes through somebody else's mouth. And the mouth changes stories. Every time a story passes through another person, something gets added, something gets removed, something gets cleaned up. By the 5th person, the rumor sounds like evidence. That's how innocent people get accused. And that's also how guilty knowledge gets buried inside confusion. An OG don't chase noise. An OG goes back to the source. Who said it first? Who was standing there? What time was it? What exactly did Nolan say? Because once Nolan could no longer speak, everybody else started speaking for him. And that's dangerous. A person who can defend himself can be made to say anything. He wanted to stay. He had another ride. He was good. But who heard those words come directly from Nolan's mouth? That's what we need to find out. But first, we're gonna get into the jewel. Never let 10 repeated stories become stronger than one verified truth. Drop your jewel in the comment on this question right here. Go back to the first mouth, not the loudest mouth. Now, he wanted to stay is what some people said. Remember that? This is the line that keeps following this story, right? He wanted to stay. All right. Who heard him say that? Did Nolan look somebody in the face and say, leave me here? Did he say, I got another boat? Did he name that person? Did he point to the ride? Did anybody walk over and confirm it? Because where I come from, you don't leave your man behind on a maybe. You don't say, I think he got a ride. You ask, who you riding with, my dog? You look at that person. You make sure that ride is real. Then you pull off. That ain't controlling a grown man. That's accountability. That's loyalty. That's understanding. The only lazy assumption can become a mother's lifetime of pain. Maybe Nolan did choose to stay. That remains possible. But if he did, somebody should be able to explain who heard him, what he said, and who was supposed to bring him home. A ride has a face. A ride has a boat. A ride has a departure time. He had another ride. Can't remain a ghost answer forever. Now, real loyalty doesn't assume you're safe. Real loyalty confirms it. Let me hear your verdict in the comment on this, right? Would you leave your friend without seeing the ride yourself? Now, let's talk about the moment the boat left. Picture that boat pulling away. Music behind them. Water underneath them. The island getting smaller. Everybody on the boat heard. They headed back towards their life. Back towards their beds. Back towards their families. Back towards their phones. But Nolan wasn't there. Now here's the OG question I got for y'all, right? Who noticed first? Who counted the people? Who asked, where's Nolan? Who answered? And how fast did everybody accept that answer? Because sometimes people accept the easiest story when the real answer would make them turn around. Man, I'm just trying to go back. I don't know where he at. He should have been on here. He must got a ride. You seen him with somebody, right? Wasn't he with that girl? Oh yeah, he probably got a ride with her people because I think she from, somewhere near us. They start making excuses. Now, because like I said, because some people accept the easy story when the real answer would make them turn the boat around. He's staying. Okay, who's he staying with? He met somebody. Okay, what's their name? He got another ride. Okay, what boat? That's not interrogation. That's what real friends do. Before we pull off, we make sure everybody's straight because the ocean don't care how young you are. Darkness don't care how strong you are. Confusion don't care how good the party was. 1 minute you're celebrating, the next minute your name is on a missing persons flyer. And the jewel in that, right? The time to check on your people is before danger arrives, not after tragedy makes the news. And again, I want to thank y'all for reporting the class. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now pull out your phones and notepads and calm down, y'all, calm down. I need y'all to put in the comments, hit an emoji, ask a question, do something, hit the hype to get this movement out. All right, now, Who verified Nolan was safe before that boat moved off? The phone went home without Nolan. Now, let's slow down and look at the phone. Young people don't go nowhere without their phones. That phone is their map, their money, their ride, their contact with home. So when Nolan didn't have his phone, that matters. I ain't saying it proves a crime. I am saying it makes a decision to leave him behind. Even harder to understand, no phone, no direct contact, no way for his mother to reach him, no easy way to call for help, and people still believe he was good? Based on what? This is where an OG starts watching the gaps. Because I see a lot of gaps. Not because every gap means murder, but because every tragedy usually has a moment. Where somebody could have slowed it down. Somebody could have asked one more question. Somebody could have turned around. Somebody could have said, hold up, where is he? That one question might not have changed anything. But when somebody does come home, you'll spend the rest of your life, if someone don't come home, wondering if it could have been different if you would have asked that one question. Let's get to the jewel in this. Neglect really announces itself. Sometimes it looks like everybody assuming somebody else handled it. Now drop your jewel in the comment on this, right? Never leave a person disconnected and call that person safe. Could you leave someone disconnected and call them safe that they'll make it home all right? Let's talk about what the crowd saw more than it remembers, right? Hundreds of people, hundreds of phones, pictures, videos, selfies, boat footage. Somebody may have Nolan in the background of a video and not even know it. He may be walking behind them, talking to somebody, arguing with somebody, standing near another boat, looking towards the water. That camera may have caught that memory lost because people forgot, especially after a party, especially after alcohol, especially when fear enters the story, but a camera doesn't get nervous. A timestamp doesn't feel loyalty. Metadata, that doesn't protect friendships. The image only shows what was in front of it. That's why the original footage matters. Not the edited version, not the repost, not the clip with somebody talking over it, the raw file, the full frame, the real time. Somebody may be holding the last clear image of Nolan Wells alive. And they may think it's just another party video. That's what's crazy about this. Pay attention, the line ready to come out. Let's go. I'm ready to ride, man. I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to ride. You? Let's ride. Your camera can become a witness before you even realize a crime or tragedy happened. Let me hear your verdict in the comment. How many phones captured Nolan after the reported last sighting? The person who's afraid to talk, right? Let's talk about the person that got the information. No, they got the information and they're scared to talk. Let me speak to that person who may know something. Maybe you ain't guilty of nothing. Maybe you just saw Nolan later than everybody else. Maybe you heard an argument. Maybe you saw him looking for his people. Maybe you saw him near another boat. Maybe you're scared to say it. Scared social media will attack you because you know how social media do. Scared police will question you and you know how they do. Scared your parents will find out you were drinking or smoking. Scared your friends will call you disloyal. I understand fear. I also understand what silence does. I served 26 years in federal prison for not telling on my comrades. I went in prison in 1993 and came out in 2020. So I understand fear. And I also understand, like I said, what silence does. Silence makes innocent people look guilty. Silence gives rumors room to breathe. Silence leaves a mother alone with the worst thoughts her mind can create. You don't have to solve the whole case. You don't have to accuse nobody. Just tell what you saw, not what you think, what you heard later, what you saw. The truth doesn't need, decoration to carry it into the light. And the jewel in that, because we riding nice, right? Street loyalty never requires you to hide the truth about a dead child. And again, I want to thank you for reporting to the Hood Professors class today. Protecting a lie isn't loyalty. It's volunteering to carry somebody else's burden. The darkest or the darkness after the party. Let's talk about the darkness after that party on the island. Here's the part people don't sit with. The party ended, the boat started leaving, the crowd started disappearing, people went home, took showers, changed their phones, charged their phones, went to sleep. But Nolan's family didn't find him. Imagine that first unanswered call, then the second, then the fifth. At first, you tell yourself, his phone is dead. Then maybe he's with friends. Then maybe he'll walk around and come through the door. But the hours keep moving, and now imagination becomes torture. Is he hurt? Is he stranded? Is he scared? Is he calling for help? Is he alive? That's the prison his family entered. No bars, no handcuffs, just questions that won't let them sleep. And while everybody debates theories online, the family has to wake up every morning knowing Nolan ain't coming home. Now, when your careless decision involves another person, their family may end up serving the consequences for the rest of their lives. Now, drop your jewel in the comment on this, right? Let me hear your verdict on this. Some people went home from that island. Nolan's family never went back to normal. Do you think his family would ever go back to normal? Don't turn suspicion into a conviction. And that's why people scared to come forward. Now, let me keep this honest. Asking hard questions doesn't mean somebody murdered Nolan. Leaving somebody behind doesn't automatically make you a killer. A bad decision ain't always a criminal decision, but it can still have deadly consequences. And that's the lesson. The internet wants a villain immediately. Pick a face, circle someone, call them guilty, and OG don't move like that. I've been seeing accusations destroy people. And I've seen people hide behind confusion because nobody wanted to ask hard questions. So we do both. We don't accuse without evidence, and we don't stop asking questions because the answers make people uncomfortable. Was it an accident? Possible. Was it reckless abandonment? Possible. Was there something criminal? That has to be proven. But whatever happened, there was a last witness. There was a last conversation. There was a last decision. And there was a moment when Nolan's past separated from everyone who came with him. And the jewel in that, huh? Wisdom means keeping your mind open without letting your standards get weak. Let me hear your verdict in the comments on this. Ask the questions, but don't manufacture the answers. Now, let me give you the OG verdict, right? I'm gonna take you on a ride. I'm gonna take you on a ride to the OG verdict. Right? Here's my verdict. Nolan Wells deserves more than that. We thought he was good. His mother deserves more than that. We assume he had a ride. The public deserves more than another edited clip with people arguing underneath it. We need the last person who personally saw him. We need the last person who spoke to him. We need to know what Nolan actually said. We need to know whether he looked safe, whether he looked afraid, whether he looked confused, whether he was waiting for somebody, and whether somebody watched him board another boat. Because a last confirmed sighting isn't gossip. It's the final piece where the known world touched Nolan alive. Everything after that is darkness. And the only way through darkness is truth. Not street rumors, not internet detectives, not blind loyalty. Truth, plain and simple truth. So, to every young person watching, when you travel together, count heads. When plans change, confirm the new plan. When your friend ain't got a phone, don't leave him disconnected. And when something goes wrong, tell the truth immediately, because one night of silence can become someone else's lifetime of pain. Now, jewel in that, right? You don't prove friendship by standing beside somebody at the party. You prove friendship by making sure they survive the trip home. Now, I'm gonna ask you 10 controversial questions because I want to keep this under 30 minutes. I don't want to take you past class. Now, who really saw Nolan last? The public needs a verified witness, not another repeated story. Did Nolan personally say he was staying? Somebody should be able to say they heard those words directly from him. Would you leave your friend without his phone? Not without confirming where he was going and who he was talking to and who was taking him home. Does leaving him make his friends guilty? Put that in the comments. Not automatically, but it still raises serious questions about judgment and accountability. Could this have been an accident? Yes, but an accident still has a timeline that evidence should support. Now, why might a witness be afraid to speak? Put in the comments why you think a witness may be afraid to speak. It could be fear of the police, social media, parents, or losing friendships. Is silence a form of loyalty? Not when a family is searching for the truth about their child. What could the videos reveal? Nolan's location, his condition, who was near him, and the actual time. What was the biggest mistake? I think that was assuming somebody else was responsible for Nolan's safety. What is the real lesson here, Ron? What do you think the real lesson here is in this story? What is the real lesson? When you leave with people, make sure everybody has a safe way back home. And I'm gonna give you the closing jewel before I go. The streets taught me something simple. Never let assumption do the job that accountability was supposed to do. And with that, I want to show you why I do what I do so y'all understand where we at.
Hi, I watch Unique Mecca's YouTube and it's amazing. Like his whole story is so nostalgic. It's so like Harlem. It's so like 1980s. It's so 1999. I've been watching his channel for about 2 years, and it's very informative and it's real. You know, you don't really get the real deal from everybody, but with him, you definitely gonna get the whole real story. This is a Harlem legend, kingpin, legendary. I'm so happy to just even meet him and be in his presence. Like, his channel is very informal, and if you subscribe, you're gonna be just like me, a fan.
Alright. Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem. You know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, shit be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that, way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All
Call
right.
him.
I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
What you got from the channel?
History, how hard it is to be in jail, the right and wrong moves to make when you outside, how one wrong move will cost you a whole lot, to be better, to do better, a lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from his channel. You know, it's very informal, and you know, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like, this is a good YouTube channel, honestly.
Tell them who you on, where they can find you.
Okay, I'm Cora. You can find me at Instagram on Why Hate on Her, and yeah. I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually meeting him in person. I've been a fan for 2 years, watching his story and watching his videos on YouTube. He is the bomb.com. Harlem, legendary, kingpin, real, official. As soon as I sat down by him, I knew like it was like a different energy, a different vibe. But then once I hear his voice, I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top Beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. Baby horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the